Chapter 8, Cash and Internal Controls. It's a pretty important chapter, and they're going to use cash as a way to demonstrate how companies manage their internal controls. And this will also apply to other asset groups, but cash being the most fundamental is the one that they're going to focus on. Internal control systems is a policy and procedures managers use to A, protect assets, and then ensure reliable accounting. Internal control is huge. This is what auditors will examine to see how well their procedures are being managed, and can affect some legal issues, quite a few as a matter of fact. And so it is an important area. It's growing in importance also. Case in point, Sarbanes-Oxley Act was by two senators that put this bill together and passed it, and it's where auditors now and the managers of public companies have to document and certify the system of their internal controls, and they have to sign off on this, and with that comes some go to jail cards if these things are abused. So it does have quite a bit of weight and has changed a lot of director and officer insurance, known as D&O insurance rates, and has impacted those rates substantially. So internal control, what is this? Some principles that are common to all companies is to clearly establish responsibilities with your managers and your accounting and your security staff and so forth. You need to maintain, obviously, adequate records. You need to ensure valuable assets and bond key employees. You need to separate your record keeping from the people who actually keep custodial of the assets. You need to divide certain responsibilities for related transactions. When technology is applicable, you need to apply it. And you need to perform regular and independent reviews, hence the audit component. So there's quite a bit here, so let's get into the various aspects of this. Establishment of responsibility. What they are saying here is that it's most effective when only one person is responsible for a given task. Case in point, let's take a cash register. If you have two people that have access to the same cash register, and register comes short, who are you going to blame? And so you need to separate that. Maybe only one person per cash register. Then you can hold that person accountable. But if you have more than one, and then you can't, so you'll lose that accountability function. Segregation of duties is maybe one of the most important. The work of one employee should provide a reliable basis for evaluating the work of another employee. This is where you get into the accounts payable is not also in control of the accounts receivable. You need to segregate these functions because one acts as a monitoring for the other. There's a check and balance component here. Documentation, maybe you should use like purchase orders that are ordered and in sequence. Your checks are issued in sequence and so forth. So this is another component of internal control. Physical, mechanical, electronic controls. You use safes, you might use cameras, locks, keys to access certain vaults and so forth. So wherever you're dealing with valuable assets, you're going to have the storage capabilities. You need independent internal verification. So you need, hold on, I got people walking by here. Okay, so you need maybe to have independent verification of information. So you use maybe outside sources or maybe a supervisor versus an employee and so forth. Again, it sort of follows that segregation of duties concept. And then some other controls, maybe bonding or insuring of employees who handle cash or valuable assets, rotating employee duties and requiring employees to take vacation. And where this is really applicable to is in the person that you should rotate the most is your CFO. or your chief financial officer, or your bookkeepers for small businesses. Surprisingly, or not surprisingly, it is the bookkeeper who is found to do more fraudulent activities than almost any other position because they have control of the whole system. And so you'll find bookkeepers, when tempted, will steal. So one way of preventing that is rotating their duties and requiring a bookkeeper to take 2 or 3 consecutive weeks off where someone else is maybe stepping in for a while, and that someone else might then notice some discrepancies and then report that to management. So this is a very important aspect. So again, let's get into some specifics here. Again, using physical, mechanical, electronic controls to monitor. I mean, this is being increasingly, you're seeing this in the workplace. No surprise here. Again, the comparison of segregation of duties, a case in point, one employee maintains the cash, one employee maintains the custody, the third one maybe is verifying these 2 separate activities and that they do balance and so forth. Technology is obviously coming into this. I'm not going to spend time on this slide. I think we're all aware that technology is coming into accounting in a major way here. There are limitations to internal control. One is human error. I mean, people do make mistakes out of negligence, definitely out of fatigue or confusion or misjudgment. And then there's human fraud. This is maybe where someone actually has the intent to defeat internal controls for personal gains. And human fraud, triple threat. They look for opportunity, pressure, and rationalization. I'm not going to sort of test this, but understand that almost no source of internal control, almost every one of them can be circumvented. And so this is why this is used for a lot of times for testing to see how well. It's one thing to have a process in place, but if you never follow that process, what good is it? So they will get into that. Internal control is designed to provide reasonable assurance. Nothing's going to be foolproof here. And again, they say that these procedures should not exceed the expected benefits. This is true until you get to the regulatory side of things. The human element is an important factor in every system and can become ineffective, through fatigue and carelessness or indifference. A key term that you need to know and remember, I'll probably have this on the test, is the term collusion. And this is when 2 or more individuals work together to get around a prescribed control system. For instance, maybe the bookkeeper and the supervisor of the bookkeeper work together. Now that segregation of duties has been violated, and so they can circumvent the system. Collusion is a go-to-jail card, obviously. So again, another limitation of internal control. This can get expensive, depending on how much you want to put in these systems, and you do have to monitor the cost-benefit ratio of these things. Okay, let's get into the control of cash. And the reason why they say cash is it's the most easily stolen. You don't have to convert it, or you don't have to sell the goods. It's already in its liquid form. So we'll study different forms of internal control by how we handle cash. And handling cash, as an example, is separated from the record keeping for cash. Again, that segregation of duties. Cash receipts are promptly deposited in the bank. Cash disbursements are made by check only that can be verified, and maybe these 3 functions are segregated by 3 different people, as an example. Let's get into the term cash, cash equivalents, and liquidity, an important concept. Cash and similar assets are called liquid assets because they can be readily used to settle such obligation. Cash, again, currency, coins that are in your till, maybe deposit at bank accounts, can include checking accounts and some savings accounts. Can also include such items as maybe customer checks, cashier's checks, certified checks, and money orders. These are all referred to as cash. Now we have a second thing here known as cash equivalents. These are short-term, highly liquid investments that can be readily converted to a known cash amount, and it's very close to maturity date and not sensitive to interest rate changes. And so what cash equivalents are, we have a term like money market. Many times customers will deposit their cash at the bank, and the bank will sweep a certain amount into a money market account. That money market account earns interest, whereas maybe your checking account does not. This is still known as a cash equivalent and will be recorded as such as cash. Cash management, twofold. Plan cash receipts to meet cash payments when due. This is a huge component of being the CFO, is to manage your cash. And there's actually whole departments, and it can be quite a lucrative job called the treasury component of a company. You might want to look at that. And it's really managing those cash investments and managing the liquidity of the business to be having that cash available when needed. And then again, keeping a minimum level of cash necessary. You don't want to have millions of dollars not earning interest. You only keep what's in that checking account, what you think you're going to need in the very, very short term to pay your bills. Everything else is going to be moved to some sort of short-term investment and so forth. Other cash management, encourage collection of receivables on a timely manner, that you're monitoring your accounts receivable. You might want to delay payment of your liabilities. So you want to increase the speed of money coming in, slow it down when money comes out. It allows you to earn interest on that. Plan your expenditures, definitely your major expenditures, and then you're going to invest your excess cash. This is a common component of the Treasury Department of a company or of a CFO. Over-the-counter cash receipts. Again, the sales department, the cashier department, you do need to segregate some of these people. Okay? You might want to segregate who's handling different tills and so forth. Again, this is the only way you can, so this is going to be carefully monitored. Now I'm going to stop here because I'm running out of time, and I'm going to start on the next part with this one, this slide.